Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Department of Consumer Affairs Wednesday webinar on how DCA can help you. I'm Carrie Gruby-Linebarker. I'm the Administrator and Consumer Advocate for the agency. I've been here 20 years. I've been the Administrator for 13 of those 20, and it's my pleasure to be here today to talk to you a little bit about the services that we have here at the department and how you, and if you work for an organization, your constituents can take advantage of those services. Let's talk about what we're going to cover. So first, we're going to talk a little about who we are here at the Department of Consumer Affairs, and then we're going to look at our services more closely and how we can help you, talk about how we can partner up, and then look at our resources. So we are the state's consumer protection agency. Our mission is to protect consumers from inequities in the marketplace through advocacy, mediation, enforcement, and education. We were created when the Consumer Protection Code was adopted, which was 50 years ago last week. It was August 13th, 1974, the Consumer Protection Code passed, becoming effective January 1, 1975. So that'll be our true anniversary. We revamped, ditched the pitch, and got that out in honor of the law, the anniversary of the law passing last week, and have partnered with the Department on Aging to get that in the hands of folks who receive Meals on Wheels. So we're really happy about that partnership and planning all sorts of great stuff to celebrate consumer protection during 2025. We have 47 full-time employees and one office location. We're on Greystone Boulevard, right by the zoo. And we have over 120 statutes that we administer and enforce and their accompanying regulations. And that includes Title 37, the Consumer Protection Code. All right, so let's dive on in to the Department of Consumer Affairs Services and how we can help you. So most folks know us because they can file a complaint with our office. The complaint has to be a consumer complaint. So it's a consumer, an individual versus a business. We can't do business to business or consumer to government or things of that nature. If the business or the issue is regulated by another state or federal agency, we'll kick it over to them. We'll refer it over to them. If the business or issue is regulated by our office, then we'll engage in a review of that through our legal division to see if any laws are at play or if there are any violations of statutes under our jurisdiction. If the business or issue is not regulated by anyone, which occurs about 8 out of 10 times or 9 out of 10 times, then we will engage in a voluntary mediation of that complaint. I used to say that we would get on average 4,000 complaints annually, but last calendar year we got 5,757 complaints. And we have seen that uptick since 2020, since COVID. And that's the biggest increase that we've seen in prior years. I think it's since 2009 or so. And last calendar year, we got about $1.2 million in consumer credits, refunds, and adjustments for consumers through the mediation of those complaints. I've got our top categories for you from last calendar year. Vehicles, we had over 1,100 complaints, almost 1,200. Real estate transactions, and that falls, the majority of it, in timeshare, which is 337, and homeowner association complaints, which are 517 of those complaints. For contractors, there were 477. Solar contractors were the biggest part of that with 114 complaints, followed by general repairs at 83 and home security systems at 66. So those are our top 3 subcategories for complaints. And then we had utilities, landlord-tenant, debt collection, consumer finance, internet purchases and services, medical, and appliances. So far this calendar year, our office has received almost 3,000 complaints. It's a little bit higher than what we saw during the same time period last year. And we've been able to recover about $570,000 through the complaint mediation process. And that's a 22% increase over the prior calendar year. So they're not slowing down by any means. So how do folks file a complaint with our office? There's a couple of ways. So you can go onto our website, excuse me. You can go onto our website and file online. If you click, there's several ways. You can go to the How Do I tab on our website to file a complaint. You can just scroll down a little bit and it gives you the option, or you can go on Consumer Resources and click Consumer Complaint there as well. And it'll get you to our online complaint system, and that's 24/7. You can file a complaint anytime, you can message our analyst anytime, and it really does expedite the processing of that complaint. We have businesses that then have business accounts, and so they get the complaints emailed to them, and it just makes everything more efficient. But if you don't want to file online, you can also download a complaint form from our complaints page on our website at consumer.sc.gov, and you can fill that out, and you can either email it to our Consumer Services Division or our general account as well at scdca@scconsumer.gov, or you can mail it in. And then there's also the option to give us a ring, and we'll be happy to mail you a paper complaint form as well. All right, so that's all about filing a complaint, but consumers can also report a scam with our office, and they can also report identity theft. So we have an identity theft unit that takes these reports in. They celebrated their 10-year anniversary last year, and we take those scam reports because we want to know what's going on out there. You know, scammers, their schemes are the same. They're trying to separate you from your personal identifying information or your money, but their tactics may adjust. Are they asking for payment in a new way? Have they switched from wiring money to now they want crypto? You know, it's all those little kind of nuances, and then what kind of trends are we seeing, so that we can get the information out to the public in hopes that they don't become victims. And then if somebody is a victim of a scam and gives over their personal identifying information, or in another way becomes a potential victim of identity theft, we can provide one-on-one guidance to help mitigate that identity theft event. You know, an identity thief can use your information the same way you can. It can be to get a job, to get an apartment or a home, to get credit, to get insurance. There's a million and one ways. So that means if you're a victim of ID theft, there's a lot of different steps you have to take depending on that type of ID theft. And our folks can walk you through that process. So back in 2023, we had 963 scam reports, which was actually about 300 more than we had seen in 2022. Our top three categories are purchase, service repair, and lottery, prizes, and sweepstakes. And a purchase is essentially when somebody is approached by an imposter, and that could be whether it's on their, you know, a text message or an email or by phone call or something to trick them into paying for fake goods or something they never receive. Service repair, same kind of thing, except for instead of a good, it's a service, like a credit repair service. And then lottery, prizes, and sweepstakes. So I talked about how, you know, scams often don't change, and this is one of them. Lottery, prizes, and sweepstakes have been along since the beginning of the Department of Consumer Affairs, those scams, and they're not going away because obviously the scammers are making money from them. But it's when somebody gets that contact saying they've won a prize or they won a lottery or sweepstakes, but they have to pay fees up front in order to collect, whether it's shipping or customs fees or taxes. You've played a foreign lottery, but it's illegal under federal law to play a foreign lottery. So those are our top three scams that we saw in 2023. Every month on our website at consumer.sc.gov, if you click on identity theft and scams, and then scams, it'll take you to our scam page. And every month we post at the end of the month or at the beginning of a month what data we have from the prior month as far as the reports that we've received on scams. And so right now we have them through July, and you can see each month the top areas: service repair, debt collections in there, and in February, lottery, prizes, and sweepstakes was in there. And these top areas, it looks like lottery, prizes, sweepstakes, purchases, service repair, and debt collection were the main ones until we see in June subscriptions popped up there, and July tech popped up there. But so far, year to date, halfway through the year, purchase scams is at the top, and then service repair and debt collection are very close together in the number 2 and number 3 spot. And we've gotten 474 scam reports, so it's looking like we're going to be close to the 900 range, the 800 to 900 range for the calendar year. So how do you file a scam or make a scam report with us? You can call. You can call us toll free at 800-922-1594. That's toll free for a South Carolina telephone number. Or you can call 803-734-4200 and get to our main line, ask to go to the identity theft unit so you can report a scam. Or you can go online and fill out our scam reporting form and email that to our ID theft help at scconsumer.gov email address. As far as ID theft reports go, in 2023, we had 346 of those, which is about the same as we did in 2022. And the top 3 categories were the same too: financial, government, and medical. So financial is, includes misuse of existing ATM cards or debit or other kinds of checking account information, opening new credit cards, loans, or utility accounts with someone else's info. Government often falls in the tax category bracket, but sometimes it's public assistance. Somebody else is using benefits in your name. And then medical, somebody's using your Medicare number to submit fraudulent claims for health insurance or to your health insurance without your authorization. Again, we offer one-on-one guidance through our identity theft unit. We have an identity theft toolkit, which can be accessed on our website, as well as different tear sheets, depending on the type of identity theft that you have suffered. This one is an example of our income tax fraud tear sheet and gives you step-by-step instructions on who to contact and how do you do so. So you can keep this information. You can keep it in a PDF format, or you can download it and print it off. We have hot links in there to hopefully make it easy for you. And our staff is always willing and able to assist as you go through that process. And if you want the direct assistance of our staff, you can complete the ID theft intake form on our website. You can also call, again, toll free, similar to how you do to report a scam. The ID theft form currently is a PDF that you would have to complete and email to our office, or you could print it and snail mail it, but we do have an online form that we are nearing completion of. So hopefully that will be live next month. All right, so we're halfway through our services. So I'm going to take a moment just to see briefly if we have any questions that have come through as of yet before we move on to the second half of the presentation. All right, not seeing any questions, but feel free to input those as they come across, and I'll be happy to answer them. All right, next up, we have background of business. So I mentioned that our agency has over 120 statutes to regulate, and it's consumer credit generally. Consumer credit sales, which is like when you go purchase a vehicle, or loans, you get a loan to purchase something, or even a home. Then we have rent to own, and then leases too fall generally under there. But then we also regulate the sale of solar. We regulate 15 different industries. It goes from mortgage brokers, credit counselors. We'll get into that a little bit more. So we have lots of information that you can use to try and background a business to make sure they have proper licenses and see if they have any complaints. So here is an overview of the Consumer Protection Code and some of the areas that we touch on. So you can see we have in that top line, the general focus with loans and credit sales. The second line, we have miscellaneous loan provisions, continuing care retirement communities. Third line, it shows prepaid legal services and prescription drug discount cards. And then we have mortgage lending in there, guaranteed asset protection. And there are other laws outside the code that we administer and enforce too that are very industry specific: mortgage brokers, motor club services, pre-need funeral contracts, physical fitness services, gyms, pawnbrokers. So it really does run the gamut. So if you want to make sure that somebody has a license before you do business with them, go to our website at consumer.sc.gov. Scroll down and click on the Business Lookup Learn More link, and it puts you to our background to business page where we have tips about shopping and comparing, making sure somebody's licensed, where you can click on our licensee lookup page. And then if somebody's not licensed by our office, they may be licensed by another state agency. And so we have listed other agencies that oversee certain industry licensing that we get a lot of questions about, like with the Board of Financial Institutions, Labor Licensing and Regulation, Department of Insurance. So we have those links for you to be able to go to their page. If you click Licensee Lookup, it'll take you to a page that has a description of the type of industry. So we have athlete agents, then the description so you know where you're clicking. And then it'll pull up an Excel spreadsheet with the contact information for all of our licensees. If somebody is supposed to be licensed, you want to make sure they have a license in good standing before you contract with them. Another way to get to the licensee lookup page is by clicking on the licensee lookup button on our website too. So there's more ways to get there as well. I think even under our consumer resources page, you can get there. On the background of business page, it also has information on how to search complaints. And so there's a public information portal that you can either go to through the background of business page. There's an online search engine once you click on there, and you can put, if you know what the company's name is, you can go ahead and put that there. If you know part of what it may contain, you can put it there as well, or mailing address, whatever information you have, and search for it. Just because somebody has a complaint against them does not mean that you should not do business with them. It's just an extra tool, extra piece of information that you can look at to see what kind of issues there were and how it was closed, and mainly, was the business responsive, right? If we have non-responsive businesses to complaints, that's a red flag. And also, just because the complaint isn't there doesn't mean necessarily that somebody is doing the right thing either, right? So just that extra tool. And you can also get to the search for complaints page by clicking on search for complaints button on the main page of our website. All right, so next up, we offer free presentations. So education is a core component of our mission here at the Department of Consumer Affairs. We want to make sure that consumers and businesses are aware of their rights and responsibilities under the laws. In the past 5 years, we've given nearly 700 presentations. We do this Wednesday webinar. Each week we've been doing that since COVID, but we traveled the state as well. We can come speak to your consumer organization, your church, or your senior group, or your ladies group, or men's group. We go to libraries, we go to businesses and assist with different staff training, or even just scam presentations. Identity theft and scams is our top presentation. Ditch the pitch bingo is our most popular presentation, I would say, these days as well. What we've done is taken our Ditch the Pitch guide for guarding against scams and put it in bingo format, because everybody loves to play bingo, and people get very passionate about the playing of bingo. So whenever we read a number, we give a tip. So just like, if we were playing bingo and N41 popped up, we'd say, don't let embarrassment or fear keep you from reporting theft or fraud, as people are looking on their bingo card. We come with the bingo machines and everything, the cards, all the stuff to play. We have gifts that we hand out for that too. So that's really popular. But again, we'll speak on an array of different topics. We have a presentation request form on our website under the How Do I tab. You can click request a presentation. And then there's also a stay informed button that you can click to request or get to our presentation request form as well. And then we have publications. So we have over 50 publications on our website that you can download. Topics range from scam and ID theft, business education, financial literacy, money, credit, online shopping, and then we have 6 publications that are available for mail order as well, that you can go to that particular button on our page, and that's Ditch the Pitch, credit reports, what they are and why they matter, how to prevent ID theft, our auto guide for consumers, and recovering from a disaster. And these are some of those brochures. You can request up to 50 of them, and we'll get those out to you. But we also do education through press releases and traditional media. We have different reports we publish throughout the years. We have videos like this particular presentation. After we do the Wednesday webinars, most of them get uploaded onto our YouTube page too. So if you want to send it to somebody, or if you miss something or want to rewatch it, you can. And of course, we're on social media, and then our website has an array of information for you. And then last but not least, we are here to answer your questions. We get about 25,000 calls a year to our main number, that 803-734-4200 or 800-922-1594. We have a live receptionist. So someone is there to assist, and hopefully, even if it's not our office who can answer your question, we would know where to send you so that you don't get the runaround or get looped to too many different folks. But we have lots of partnerships, so we know who may be able to best assist you with your particular inquiry. And just some examples about how it all comes together, the complaints and the scam reports and identity theft, and just the communications that we get from folks and their reportings to our office. Back in 2022, we had received an inquiry from a consumer and a reporter about a COVID testing site that they were concerned was a scam. And so one of our investigators reached out to the Department of Health and Human Services Office of the Inspector General and let them know about this issue. We issued a press release on COVID testing, and then the FBI actually got involved and took the lead for the investigation because it was it was more than just here in South Carolina. And so the press release was talking about, the steps to take if you're looking for an at-home or an in-person COVID-19 test and the different tips that we had there. And then, of course, we went onto social media and put a bunch of different posts out there as well, trying to warn people about that scam. And then we had a Medicare DNA scam that we had heard about in 2019. So consumers had attended a DNA screening pop-up event and they were concerned that it was a scam. So our investigator reached out to the event venue and had gathered some information. We issued a scam alert and education on the topic. And again, we reached out to the Department of Health and Human Services Office of the Inspector General, and there ended up being a multi-state investigation that ensued. And there were some South Carolina physicians that had been involved in this Medicare DNA scam that had some enforcement actions against them. So this is the press release we did, possible Medicare DNA scam spreading in South Carolina, with some tips about how to protect yourself from Medicare fraud. And then we did some social media postings to go along with it. And then an example of how a complaint led to an enforcement action. So we had an illegal pension loan scheme. We had gotten some complaints from folks where there was an attorney in the upstate of South Carolina who was soliciting nationwide investors in a program that would then, quote unquote, buy people's pensions or retirement, but essentially it was a loan and it was unlicensed activity and violated different areas of the South Carolina Consumer Protection Code. And so we were able to partner with the Federal Trade Commission as well as some other state partners too, to get information on that and to stop the scheme. And that was just one consumer. I think we had one complaint and then maybe there were 2 or 3 other ones that were following in time, but it was one complaint that kicked it off. So let's partner up. You've heard about what we do. Let's talk about how we can partner together. Invite us to present to your community or invite us to your community events. Even if you don't have a slot for us to be able to share our education in a presentation format, we're happy to come and have a table with our publications and our brochures available to your event attendees. So order brochures to keep on hand or for your events. Again, you can order up to 50 of those 6 publications that we have in our publications request form, but then we have so many more that are on our website that you can feel free to download and print off on your own for that event. Insert some of our tips or information into monthly newsletters. And if you need content, we're more than happy to provide that. And then refer folks to us. A lot of times people know we exist when something bad happens because they have a complaint or they have a scam or an identity theft event, or there was a business who was not honest or was not acting fairly. So folks know us when bad things happen, and then over time, hopefully it doesn't happen a lot, and so they don't have to use our services as much. And so make sure that you're telling your friends about us, about our services, and we are here and ready to help. And you can connect with us on multiple platforms. We have Facebook, we have Twitter, our YouTube channel, again, with multiple videos. There's playlists, so if you have certain topics that you want to hear about or learn more about, you can go to that particular playlist. You can email us. Our general account is scdca@scconsumer.gov. Again, you can call us, 800-922-1594 with a South Carolina telephone number, or 734-4200. And then go to our website, consumer.sc.gov. I had mentioned our How Do I tab, and there you can see it. It's on the main page. You can file a complaint, get a license, background of business, report identity theft, report a scam, request a presentation, all of that just by clicking on one of those buttons. And you can learn more about the agency by going to the About Us tab there. And this is just all the different areas where you can access the majority of what we discussed today. All right, lots of information, short amount of time. Hope that gives you all an idea about how you can use our services in the future. We have lots of different questions that I'm going to get to now, which is great. All right, so somebody asks, what is the difference between a scam and identity theft? When someone uses your credit card number online to order items without accessing your credit card, would that be identity theft or a scam? Great question. So a scam is the tactic that's often used to get your personal money or your information. So a scam would be if I say I'm online, I'm an online vendor and I have this great pair of shoes for sale, and you pay me for those shoes and you never receive those shoes. That's a scam. Or if somebody calls you up and they say, hi, this is the IRS, and if you don't pay us $500 right now, we are going to come and send a sheriff out to your front door and we're going to arrest you because you did not file your taxes on time. Those are some examples of a couple scams. Identity theft would be when someone uses your information. They actually use your information to pretend like they are you. So the use of your credit card would be identity theft. That would be considered identity theft. And there would be steps that you would take to try to get that money back. If it's a credit card, you have the right to dispute that, and it should be a very simple process. Debit cards are a little different. It takes a little bit more time to be able to recoup from that. But yes, that's the difference between a scam and identity theft. Someone else asked, can I file a complaint with your office against an auto insurance company? So that complaint would be with the Department of Insurance, and we have that information on our website, but they are the regulator of insurance companies in South Carolina, including auto insurance, and they have a consumer services division as well, where you can file a complaint with them. Okay, now somebody has asked a question about homeowners associations, which again is one of our top complaint categories. So this person had filed a complaint with our office back in 2021, and there was not a satisfactory resolution. So the question is, can they reach out to the department to get help in moving this forward? Now, yes, if you've already filed a complaint with our office and you're not satisfied, you can certainly contact us to reopen the complaint. If you want to file a new one and reference the old one, that's fine as well, because so much time has passed and you may have additional information that you can include there. One of the things with our homeowner association complaint authority is we only have the authority to engage in voluntary mediation. We don't administer and enforce the homeowner association statute, and we are prohibited from arbitrating any of those complaints. It's just voluntary mediation. And so this particular consumer is saying there should be a way for the department to get more authority to help folks with these issues, and you can certainly contact your legislators to make them aware of that. We issue a complaint report every year for the complaints that we receive with information to help the legislators in their policy decision-making process. And we actually last June did a 5-year report in honor of the 5-year anniversary of the law that passed went into effect in May of 2018, requiring our office to take homeowner association complaints. So yes, there has been discussion at the State House based on those reports and some presentations that we've made recently. So you can certainly let your legislators know of your interest in increasing regulation or oversight of homeowners associations. Okay, someone asked about whether or not, I'm guessing the scams that we talked about and the identity theft that we talked about, whether or not there are crimes and are they litigated by SCDCA. So it depends on what the scam is and whether or not it's a crime. 9 times out of 10, yes, there was a crime that was likely committed, but they would not be under the jurisdiction of our office. We don't have criminal authority here. We have civil authority. So sometimes if something is under our jurisdiction, so people may look at, this is in my mind because it was something we discussed recently, as a solar scam, where someone came to a consumer's house and offered to put in solar and then never did anything. And if they did not comply with the solar laws we have under our jurisdiction, then there's a possibility that we would be able to take some action against them to get the consumer's money back. But we often tell folks to go ahead and file a police report for that particular event too. So there could be some ability for us if we have a statute that explicitly applies to that event. But certainly, I mean, I mentioned we had 963 scam reports, and our office is 47 folks with 120 laws under the jurisdiction. So it's definitely a partnership effort, and we share information with federal agencies into a big database so trends can be looked at, and it's more of a pattern or practice kind of review that has to take place again, and to see if it actually falls directly within our jurisdiction. We appreciate you spending time with us today and hope to see you on future Wednesday webinars. You can check out what's coming up by going to our website at consumer.sc.gov and scrolling down to the calendar. All right, thanks again, and hope you all take care and be well. Bye-bye.